Talk. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. All right, man. All right. So today's episode, we're gonna be talking about someone has came out and said they can actually make it happen between Drake and Kanye doing a joint album for Drake's next album. And I'm gonna tell y'all how I feel about that in a second. Before I get into that, I gotta get it spilled. This is Torture Talk. If you like the content, please consider subscribing. If you're new here, let me work for your subscription today. All the beautiful, single, sexy ladies, put one in the chat. All the fellas, the fun ones that just don't harass them. I don't sound no merch, but I do have content absolutely free. But if you will leave a donation, link is in the description. Cash App, no more PayPal. They call me the Hidden Gem. I went from 1,300 subscribers over 16,000. And yes, I am the king of the north. Let me know what kingdom you from. Also, too, this Sunday, coming up next Sunday, there will be a battle rap event on this page live. Me versus J Dev. If you want to see it, click the link. It's going to be great if you like battle rap. So, all right, so let's get to it, man. Let's do it. All right, this comes courtesy of Jay Nolan. And yeah, so let's get to it, man. Let's go.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I think is happening. Because it's like, okay, look at it from this perspective, right? Kanye has a weird obsession with Drake, a very weird obsession, right? And if you looked at it through the lens of who Kanye has always been and who Drake is and who Kendrick is, you would think he would side with a Kendrick, right? Like that seems more.
Maybe I'm missing some context. Kanye, I don't think he has a weird obsession with Drake. I think Kanye just doesn't like Drake. It's not that he has a weird obsession with Drake. Why do people do that? And he ain't the only one that's ever said this. I mean, maybe he's not saying it, maybe he's saying it from someone else's point of view. But why do people say that? Why do people say when people don't like Drake, why do they say they have a weird obsession with him when they don't like him? But when it's him that don't like somebody, they don't say he has a weird obsession with them. I don't get that whole analogy. Why do they do that when it comes to Drake? So let's keep it going.
They're both Geminis. They both have revolutionary. They both speak up even when it's not popular. So you would think he would naturally go with Kendrick, but he went with Drake. So now you got to say, why would he go at Kendrick? He's going at Kendrick because he's going to be the only person on Drake's side. And I think him and Drake, I'm not lying. I swear to God, I can't say who, I can't say what. But maybe 6 months ago, I tweeted something about this. And somebody who's really big in the music business called me like, yo, I like your perspective. And then I was like, boom, boom. And I swear to God, I'm not lying to y'all. And this person says to me, he goes, I think you just gave me an idea. Because, this person's really close to Drake, like really close to him. And he was like, I think you gave me an idea. Because we were just talking, and he was like, yo, I want my man to win. My man is getting, and I'm like, and I said to him something, and he said, you just inspired me. And I'm like, what? He said, I think Drake can come back if him and Kanye did a joint album. And I was like, no. And then he goes, I was like, no, I say, that actually sounds kind of dope. And he was like, yeah. And then he said, his exact words is, I'm the only person in the world that can do it.
All right, so let me stop it there. This is absolutely not going to happen. Absolutely not going to happen. I'll be honest with you. Maybe I'm missing something. Did Drake ever rap over a Kanye beat? Solo. Maybe he did a beat. Maybe he did a rapped over a Kanye beat over somebody else's stuff. But did Kanye ever produce a track for Drake? I know Drake wrote something for Kanye, but did Kanye ever produce a track for Drake? I'm not sure. I'm not sure because I don't really remember if he has done that. Maybe maybe he did a couple. I don't remember. But I'm gonna give my thoughts on what I believe. I don't think this is gonna happen, but I'm gonna tell y'all what I think would happen if that did happen. Let's go.
I'm gonna stop him right there. We're gonna get back to it. I'm gonna be very clear. You put Kanye and Drake together on an album, it's not gonna do what y'all think it's gonna do. Kanye is still Kanye to some people, a lot of people out there that, you know, they're blind followers. They buy anything he puts out. He has a very solidified fan base, right? He showed that with the previous album with Ty Dolla Sign. Whatever it was that first week, them niggas did over like 200,000, some crazy shit. However, with all of the people that Kanye is pissing off, not only in terms of consumers, but in the record business, who is going to support it? Who is going to make it a long-standing thing? Who is going to put the proper backing behind the project for it to even matter? And when I say matter, I'm not saying that they can't sell records. I'm saying who's going to make it matter in terms of, if Kendrick is the guy right now, how are you supposed to put any chinks in his armor with a Kanye and Drake project? Two artists that are damaged, two artists that are trying to go through a recovery phase with no real path to recovery in the public eye, because it's just not their moment. It's not their time, right? Not to say, I think that if they did it, they could probably make some good music together. Like, although,
No, I'm gonna stop him there. If this project was to ever come about, do I think that it would be a good project? I'm gonna go into more depth detail at the end of this, but I think just on a surface level, you would think that this would be a good project. Most people would think that if it's a whole rap album and Drake is on it, or even if it's R&B, because Kanye does R&B too. But if it's produced by Kanye, I think that this may be a little bit different from what you usually hear from Drake. And if they're saying it just to take down Kendrick, I don't understand. Like, so you telling me that you need another guy, not just J. Cole. You need another guy that's at the pinnacle of hip hop to take down this guy. And let's be clear, this has nothing to do with Kendrick, and I'm gonna explain why this wouldn't do anything to Kendrick. Let's keep it going.
I'm not the biggest fan of the collaborations that they've done over the years. There's still a possibility there, especially when you put all those writers in one room. I mean, goddamn, if you got 12 writers in a fucking room, y'all can't make nothing that bangs? Shit. But outside of that, I just don't see how you go against the champ. You want to do a 2-on-1 challenge against the champ, and he double clothesline y'all ass. Then what? You know what I'm saying? Because we got one guy who, I already said it the other day, this nigga's rapping and singing. He's using AI to compile his ideas. He's rapping and singing in terms of like not even saying words. He's just emoting sounds in his music now. Then you got the other guy who can't seem to find his identity. He wants to be gangster one day. He wants to be R&B heartthrob the next day. There's talk of him possibly employing AI technology on his own music. Y'all not finna beat the real deal. Again, y'all could put some numbers on the board, but you're not gonna beat him. Plus,
That's the thing too. No matter how you jump at it, no matter what you do, if you ain't authentic with it, you're not gonna be able to beat this guy. I don't know why you guys think that you are ready for this dude Kendrick. None of y'all are, man. He's prepared for every one of y'all. Every one of y'all. And I think even when this was to happen, it's just trust me, it wouldn't work.
tell me who the fuck Kanye has beat in a rap battle in hip hop. I ain't talking about no motherfucking 50 Cent outsold that nigga on some let's put our album out on the same day and who does better. I'm saying, who has he gone back and forth with on wax? And I'm not saying that Kanye should have won a battle, because I never looked at him in that light. But for him to try to hypothetically get with Drake and go at Kendrick on a 2v1, who the fuck has he out rapped in that fashion for us to even give him any kind of leeway or thought process that he could? You know what I'm saying? That nigga dissed. He put out one diss, first diss of his career that I'm aware of. Um, Last year he went at Drake. He said fuck J. Cole and went at Lucian Grange. It's not enough. But I'm gonna let homie finish.
Get them two to sit down and see eye to eye and see how to put an album together. If I'm right, by the way, I don't know. This is just I'm by the way, when we do the radar report, guys, I'm just talking to my team. They sitting behind the camera, we talking everything, and we just talk about things. But I just realized he said that to me. He was like, I think Drake and Ye should do an album together. I'm gonna call you back. I'm about to call Drake. And I'm like, and he was like, bro, I'm gonna tell you something. If this shit happens, I'll make sure the world knows you inspired this from me. And I'm like, that's all I need. Just tell him that. But I think the powers that be are sitting back because let's be clear. The powers that be want Drake to win. The powers that be need Drake to win. Let's be clear. Drake is
No, they don't. Don't listen to anybody that tells you this when it comes to the music industry. No, they do not need Drake to win. No, they don't. They do not need Drake to win. Trust me, there's enough artists in the world. I put it to you like this. If you telling me that the powers that be need Drake to win, as if these people don't already have money. They already have contingency plans for all this. Trust me. Trust me when I tell you, if Drake was to fall off tomorrow, they have a contingency plan to put somebody else in his place. Do not I don't care if a dude is in the industry. I don't care if he say he worked with record execs. I don't care if he got platinum records behind him. I'm telling you, even these people he don't even know, the higher ups that are beyond him, that are beyond the people he talked to. Trust me, they don't need Drake. They do not need Drake. Not even in the slightest. They don't. They'll take it'll be a little bump in the road for them. Trust me, these dudes they have more money you can comprehend. Trust me. They'll find somebody else. For you to say, this one dude said the music industry would collapse if Drake was to go independent. Come on, bro. Stop it. Like, stop it. If Drake was to go independent, he'll be just like Kanye. He'll be just like Kanye. Same thing. Same thing.
he is what they call what's the word I'm looking for? He will cooperate with the system. Right? So you need Drake to win. He's actually the perfect thing for the system, right? He's half black, half white. We already talked about nigga and Yamaka, right? He's friendly. He's all these things. He lets everybody in. He's bigger than everybody. So the industry needs Drake to win more than they need Kendrick to win. Kendrick brings in troublemakers. Drake brings in hits. Kendrick brings in trouble. He brought trouble to
Bro, he's going to get tore up for that statement, bro. He's going to get tore up for that statement right there, bro. I'm telling you right now, if y'all think that he ain't going to get tore up for that statement, if this John doesn't fly under the radar, Kendrick brings in troublemakers, bro, that is such one of the biggest stereotypes I ever heard. And they say Drake bringing the hits and the nice people. Yeah, he gonna get tore up for that. He's gonna get tore up for that. I'm telling you, somebody's gonna clip that. Watch.
win more than they need Kendrick to win. Kendrick brings in troublemakers. Drake brings in hits. Kendrick brings in trouble. He brought trouble to, and what I mean by trouble, I'm not talking about to us, I'm talking about to the system, right? Kendrick is doing songs like We Gonna Be All Right and fucking To Pimp a Butterfly, and he's talking about the fucking injustices, and Drake is just talking about getting money, fucking bitches, having fun. Who the fuck you think the system wants to win, guys?
Yeah,
Drake.
the system doesn't want Drake to win no more because the climate has changed, and the same people that you believe is listening to that, they not listening to that no more. That's why Kendrick is charting higher than Drake. And he should know this because he was a record exec. I think that y'all still living in, and some of y'all record execs are still living in the old guard. Y'all don't understand that times have changed. People are more intelligent. A lot of people don't go to the clubs no more. Everybody ain't in the strip clubs. Everybody ain't doing what you doing. You saying trouble, but everything that you mentioned, which is so crazy to me, how you would say it's trouble, then you try to clean it up by saying it's trouble to the system. Like, no, we know what you meant. He bring in troublemakers. We know exactly what you meant, right? And I'm not saying he's a bad guy because I actually like this guy. I'm just saying that was just admit you was wrong about that. But when you say trouble and you say Drake is fucking money and getting bitches, but then Kendrick comes along and talks about us as moving along as people, the system only reacts to who they think is what people want to hear right now. Nobody wants to hear Drake right now. So you can say whatever you want to say, and Drake could be whoever he want to be. But I'm telling you right now, Drake is almost 40 years old, and he's still talking about stuff and still talking about teenagers and girls in high school living with their mothers, bro. You think people want to hear that? No, they don't. That's why they chart. That's why they spinning his old stuff so much. So for you to say that lets me know that you have a one track mind when it comes to this. That's just how I feel. I feel like you're downplaying Kendrick by saying, well, the system doesn't know. The system actually wants Kendrick now. That's why he's where he's at today. Everybody's asking for that right now. Everybody's asking for that. They ain't asking for what Drake is doing. Because if that's the case, Nokia and all them songs would have passed Kendrick. Kendrick is still beating him with songs that he released almost a year ago. Like, come on, bro.
So I'm thinking that the system is these guys at the top are like, how can we save our favorite? Because let's be clear, there will be residue if Drake fucking falls off. There will be residue. You got to remember how many other artists that he helped. You got to remember, it's like when one tide rises, the other ones fall.
As much as that sounds like it makes sense, I'm not jacking it. If Drake has already taken a humongous hit, I ain't gonna say he's completely fallen, but he's definitely lowered his rungs. And I think that the artists that he's collaborated with, they're just on a decline on their own. Like Lil Baby, he's on a decline off his own volition. You know what I'm saying?
And he's absolutely right about that. And I'm gonna let him continue, but he's right about that. But I just want to say real quick, Drake can't be responsible for you trying to say basically Drake is responsible for keeping these artists afloat. Like that's not that's so you basically saying all these artists their careers are dependent on Drake and them doing hits with Drake or songs with Drake. That's basically what you're saying.
And like he ain't grown musically. His subject matter hasn't grown. He hasn't figured out how to like rap without using that same fucking auto-tune filter on his voice the entire album. It's not sonically pleasing, right? A lot of people went and gave that album a chance, which is why it did the numbers it did in hopes of it being a good project. It just wasn't, right? Young Thug, we're gonna leave the verdict out on him because he's just getting back into the swing of things. I'm sure he'll have a pretty successful album rollout whenever it's time for him to start dropping again. Migos, they're already on a decline. I mean, R.I.P. to Takeoff. One of their members is not with us. The other two members, as solo artists, will never reach the heights of what their group did. And it doesn't look like there's a real pathway of them like getting back together and like keeping the band going. They're just in two separate places in life, in music. Seems like Quavo's still cool with Cardi. Offset is not. So there's division there. And you could go down the list of all of these different artists that Drake has classically collaborated with. Savage is still gonna do numbers, but he's also in a category of like, if he drops another album that just sticks to the same script, the next 3 years probably are not going to be so friendly for him either. Because
But see, and I have to agree, a lot of these, and I will say this, a lot of these artists that he named, good portion of them, I don't think they depended on Drake, but they got a hit from him, and they kind of coasting off of that still. Some of them, not all of them. Lil Baby's a little bit different because what was it? Yeah, was it Lil Baby? I always get them two dudes names confused. Uh, I think that he had hits, after Drake, but still in all, like the problem with a lot of these artists has nothing to do with Drake. Is they're not really good artists. That's the problem. They're not really good artists. So it's not that Drake kept them afloat. They had hits, but they're not really good artists. They don't know how to make music without doing the same thing, just the same regurgitated thing. Because they're not artists. They're just rappers. You know what I'm saying? They don't know how to create a song where they just trying to they trying to recreate hits. That's all they trying to do. They're not trying to make music that actually will change certain things or move some things, and it be a hit. They don't know how to do that. They don't.
He's coming into elder statesmanship himself. He's not a young whippersnapper straight out of motherfucking East Atlanta no more. You know what I'm saying? So the tide is already falling. The people are already eager for something new. So all the acts that Drake associates himself with, regardless of whether he teams up with Kanye or not, inevitably they're going to go backwards, right? The only person that's left is like Future. Future is like an anomaly. He's got the mainstream, he's got the underground, he's got the fucking, just like with this whole Playboy Cardi thing, right? He's on the Playboy Cardi project. He maneuvers throughout everybody. His brand is pretty much solidified to where it's like no matter what he does, it just works. And when it doesn't, he just goes and makes mixtape material that keeps him afloat. But the verdict is still out on whether or not him and Drake are even going to be collaborating anytime in the future. Like we still don't know. So I don't see this amazing path of like restoration for Drake. I think the best course of action for Drake, honestly, is the one that he allegedly told the DJ that don't spin the other day, where he's working by himself in the studio and he's going to be reflective and introspective on a project. I think that's the best course of action that he can do, is to make, and I'm not saying to try to go and make a Mr. Morale, because I did see some people saying that. I don't think he needs to try to do that. I don't think he needs to, what do they call it? Psychologize himself on an album. I don't think that'll work in his favor. But just kind of almost like I hate to say the title, but Certified Lover Boy was like the last one. Scorpion, you know what I'm saying? Those last two projects, and find some bops.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about this. So, all right, make sure y'all go subscribe to Nolan. I think a lot of us have became accustomed to just Drake making hits, not actually Drake making good music. So like he said, he just need to go find some bops. And I think that that's the wrong thing he should do. I think that Drake should totally revamp his style. I think he should do something that he never did before, and that's make a complete rap album. That's it. No singing, no nothing. Just all hooks, hip hop, whatever. And I think he definitely should get a super producer to do this whole album. Somebody maybe go back and get Just Blaze. Get Just Blaze to do his whole album. You know what I'm saying? Get Premier to do his whole album. Somebody, and he rap like a real rapper. I think that's the only way. And I'm gonna tell you right now, that still won't be enough, because that means that you are conforming to where Kendrick is at. And it's going to be very difficult for you to keep up, because Kendrick Lamar dropped something like that. It's over for you either way. Anything Kendrick does at this point is going to keep you in a corner. So the best course of action, I believe, is for him to do a rap album. Now, be honest about it too. Not saying go out and make a Mr. Morale album, but talk about your life. Do something that you usually don't do. Talk about it and talk about it in depth detail. Not just some girls. Don't even rap about girls on the album. Talk about you and your flaws and what you're going through and why you are who you are. Make a song about your dad and where he's at in life. Make a song about your mom, stuff like that. That's the only way I see him competing. You know what I'm saying? At Kendrick at a level of not even Kendrick at 100. Competing with Kendrick at 40%. Because he ain't competing with Kendrick at 100%. Ain't none of y'all doing that. Y'all could just forget that. No way. But now him and Kanye, I don't think that that's going to happen. That's number one. Number two, if it does happen, that's not going to do anything. Usually when we think of stuff like that, it turns out to be a total disaster. You know what I'm saying? First of all, you got two huge egos in the room. They're going to be clashing like crazy. Then who is to say? And you know the crazy thing is, I think he was talking about Jay Prince. You know what I'm saying? Because Jay Prince is close to Drake, and he probably couldn't convince Drake if they still close. I'm just saying, I think that's who he was talking about. Not saying he was. I don't know who he was talking about because I don't know nobody in the music industry. I don't know nobody in the higher ups. I don't know nobody. So I'm just saying that's just my gut feeling that he was saying he was talking to. It was probably Jay Prince. But let's just say, hypothetically speaking, they did do the album. And only two things could go about it. Either it would be an okay project, because I think it would only be okay. I don't think it would be as good as we would think. Or it would be a disaster. A disaster. I believe then again, Kanye did produce two good albums off of collabs. One with Kid Cudi, which I don't really like Kid Cudi, but Kid C Ghost album was pretty dope. That was a pretty dope album. And Ty Dolla $ign with, I believe it was Donda. But not Donda, it was Donda 2, I think. Or I don't know which album it was with Ty Dolla $ign, but it was one of those joints with him. That album was okay too. But for him to do an album with Drake, this would be something new for Drake as far as working with Kanye on a whole solo project with him. And is Kanye going to rap on it, or is Kanye just going to do the production? And, we don't know what was happening. But I don't know. And I think that if they're just doing that, and the reason why I say I think he was talking about Jay Prince, because the guys, he kind of alluded to it. He didn't say it, but he kind of alluded to it, like they could get together to kind of take down Kendrick. But I don't believe it's going to happen. But thank y'all for joining me this morning. 12 o'clock show coming up. I'll see y'all. Peace. Bye. Out of here.